Mikel Weisser, Democrat.
At least I'm closer in height to the young lady. Yes, I'm here to disrupt the elephant parade. My name is Mikel Weisser. I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives. And I'm going to tell you, and I know you don't want to hear this, but these Republicans are lying to you and they're destroying our country. That is why I'm running. I'm so tired of the lies and misrepresentation that I see from the Republicans. One of the things that stood out while I was listening to my competitors is Rick Murphy talk about stopping spending. Well, you know, I believe that if we stop spending on our family, that our children would starve to death. Some people are okay with that, especially if it's other people's children. And I see that Republicans in general don't care much about other people's children. They do their best to destroy their education, their health care, make sure that everybody stays poor. Because, you know, if you can keep people poor and sick and ignorant and fearful, then it's easier to control them. That's why in this state, Ron Gould and Doris Goodale, among other people in our Republican-run state government, have cut $1.6 billion out of education because, after all, children don't matter, but tax cuts for the rich do. That's something I'm pretty sick of. I'm also really sick of people claiming to be Republican and Christian at the same time, because if you're going to rob from the poor and afflict the sick, that's not the Christian values that I grew up with. I know I'm coming right in the face of some of the people who are wanting to hear something else. But like I say, I'm disrupting the elephant parade. Also, I'd like to address the whole idea of people in the Republican Party championing like they own patriotism or own the Constitution, especially people rocking that Tea Party flag. Tea Party is the people who like the Articles of Confederation, you know, no taxes, weak central government, government not able to actually solve problems because they didn't want to be controlled by somebody else. They wanted to do things on their own with their own direction, at the expense of everybody else. And perhaps you don't believe in a government that's about the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. Perhaps you believe that government is just about yourself. Now, if that's the way you want, then you're going to stick with this Republican line of thought, and you're going to keep on destroying our country. I'll tell you, when it comes to social values, when it comes to fiscal policy, when it comes to foreign relations, conservative values agenda has been destroying our country. They say that they're going to teach abstinence only, meanwhile we become the most teen pregnancy country in the world. They say they're going to improve health care by removing Obamacare and let 30 million people go and die. Now, again, sir, you may be okay with letting other people die, but that's not what I grew up with Christian values, and that's why I reject the Republican Party. That's my speech. The state doesn't have to go this way. It takes a few voices to start making the difference. Well, I'm used to that, but then I've been around bullies my whole life that interrupt other people when they're talking, saying you're just the same. Donkey. That's actually, we use the word donkey. Do I have any questions? Come on up.
You say, tell the right they're wrong. What actionable items will you address in office to move us toward the right and away from the wrong?
Thank you for the question. I'd like to address immigration, which is something my two opponents and also the guys running for U.S. Senate have commented on. My grandparents came to the United States from Europe. They were white. They weren't Mexican. And they weren't, well, let me finish my sentences, please. I let the other people finish. That's what we call politeness. Perhaps you've heard of it. As I was starting to say, they didn't have any English, they didn't have any jobs, they didn't have any relatives, but they came in 1909 before we started passing racist, exclusionary immigration policies. The people who are coming right now, the people who you are blaming as the immigrants destroying your country, are actually the people who pick your lettuce. They're actually the people who do the minimum wage work and less than that for companies like McDonald's. and Tyson and Hormel. Yes, I'm talking about big national corporations who have been exploiting undocumented workers, both immigrants and national. So I would like to see moving away from allowing big corporations to exploit people who are coming to our country as economic refugees. For the folks that are already in the pipeline, I feel like you've been treated unjustly, and I like to expedite their immigration. For the people who are coming now, I know they'd rather come through a checkpoint at an established border crossing instead of getting lost in the desert paying $15,000 to become slave labor someplace. I heard somebody mention the apprentice program. You mean indentured servants? That's it? There you go. Now, you can stick with your ideas, but then you can also change them. That's why we have minds.